It's them damn enchiladas.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and rip open your Trapper Keepers. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Professor Hootie.
What's up, fellas? I'm ready for a new beginning. Possibly a different film.
Also joined by one chocolate-loving SOB, Professor Nasty, my brother Joey.
All right, look, in dealing with this franchise up to this point, it's been like caviar, it's been escargot, it's been steak, it's been, all these luxurious foods. Now you got to eat your Brussels sprouts to get to part 5, right? Which is the cake. So this right here is this is the Brussels sprouts.
This is Brussels sprouts that aren't even seasoned.
It might just be like a fucking mud pie, just with rocks and fucking worms and literal pig
Go ahead
shit.
and throw the spoiler alert out there for how this
Literal
is going to go
Hubbard
today.
Farm pig shit.
Got some fun facts for you guys. Uncovered about a little Hulu series on the way. Goes by the name of Alien Earth. We got an official synopsis now. You ready to hear it?
It's happening. Yes. Give it
It's
to
going
me.
to come out next year.
It's the one we talked about during the crazies.
Yeah, we got like a little teaser promo. I think I had a Romulus for this. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers, tell me if you heard that one before, make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. It takes place apparently 30 years before the events of the original Alien. And it takes place on Earth.
Also, the synopsis for Critters.
Also,
Very similar to Critters.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Damn right. This is Timothy Oliphant attached to this bad boy,
He's
yeah?
like third or fourth build.
I was hoping he'd play like the titular young lady that's ahead of the ragtag group.
That's the thing with the Alien movies. It's always got to be some heroine.
So are we to believe this is going to be like a one miniseries or multiple seasons?
I don't see the point in making a mini-series out of something this IP rich. I feel like you want multiple seasons out of it, yeah.
So is this a Hulu show or is this an FX show?
What is it, FX on Hulu or Hulu on FX?
Disney owns Hulu. Who owns FX?
From the blurb I got, it says a Hulu series. So it won't be broadcast on FX, I guess. I don't
Is
know
it
how the rules work
FXX?
with Hulu on FX.
Either way, sounds exciting. Can never get enough Alien movies or Alien spinoffs, whatever. Hopefully this turns into like Prey 2 and the aliens battle the fucking predators again with a bunch of saber-toothed tigers or whatever the fuck that movie was about.
The Australian horror franchise Wolf Creek returns with Wolf Creek Legacy. A franchise reboot that sees Mick Taylor this time around slicing and dicing American tourists.
Is the same Mick Taylor coming back?
It does say John Jarrett will return as Mick Taylor in franchise reboot.
There we go. I am all in.
I don't know why it's calling itself a reboot if it's the same actor and character, but we shall see. We didn't watch the second one yet, so maybe he gets axed in the second one. I don't know.
Well, there's 1 and 2, and then there's an Australian TV series. So, like, it's kind of like Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger.
Terrifier 3, of course, we've got to report about Terrifier 3 every episode at this point. Terrifier 3's Art the Clown nearly vomited on the horror threequel set when shooting a particular gory scene. Everyone thought it was hysterical, David Howard Thornton tells Empire. Like, oh, we finally got him. I've always wondered how that felt as that character.
I'm sorry. I just feel like, can we just not do this?
What did they use actual like animal parts or like Dookie or something? Like how's he almost throwing up?
This is the first time he's had a reaction to one of these scenes. It's got to be fucking rough.
It just seems like cannon fodder for the poster.
He waited to the third one to peak, though. Nearly vomited.
I understand. Hollywood has ruined me for any headlines like this. Scariest movie of all
I
time.
understand. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think at this point they've established with this character in this franchise, you ain't really got to hype up the fucking gore, the gross, or the macabre, or whatever. Like we know it's like he's gonna try and one up them, every single movie. in terms of like
This is true.
the extremity nature of the gore and visuals. And
Yeah, and the second one was like one of the most successful indie movies of that year. So I mean that audience is baked in. Who the hell watches Terrifier 1 and 2 and is like, I'm good on 3? Maybe Hootie, but he's.
I think you might have.
We make him do it. The people who actually sought this out and went to the theaters to watch it, I mean, they're coming back for 3, right?
Oh yeah, people love art, just not me.
All right, moving on. Today's assignment is 1985's Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Today's lesson, and it's an important one, boys. It's them damn enchiladas. Every time. So yeah, we got Friday the 13th coming up. This is a mandatory coverage for us. The ball happens to land in Captain Jason Voorhees over here, Mr. Nasty's lap. So take it away.
who better to cover than the fanboy himself? But yeah, let's kick things off as usual. Got a couple of fan reviews here. Got one here to 10 out of 10. Might be a little bit overblown, but 10 out of 10 stars from the old guy from Halloween 3. Titled, Extremely Well Acted. It's dated around July 2022. This movie has impeccable performances from the chubby candy bar kid, the hysterical mayor, the hillbilly mom and son both give Oscar-caliber performances. The horny, stuttering guy, the two Marlon Brando wannabes with leather jackets who hate each other, the porno-reading cokehead ambulance driver, the ugly drifter, the Michael Jackson-looking black guy, the pudgy new wave breakdancer. The list goes on and on. Meryl Streep and Laurence Olivier can only wish they were this good. I think it might have been a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek.
See, what you're really telling me is you couldn't find a positive review.
Oh, there's plenty of positive reviews, but literally every one of them's like, oh yeah, everybody else thinks this movie's fucking lame, but here's a few points of why it's valid. And it's literally talking about how it's like a horror comedy and all this other bullshit.
Is it a comedy?
This is probably the funniest Friday the 13th movie to date. And I think some of it actually is intentional just because the director, Danny Steinmann, is known for like schlocky type stuff.
Oh, can't wait to talk about that, man.
And in contrast, we have one memorable scene by I Hate Every Movie I See, dated August 2003. This movie made me want to cry when I watched it. I was so disappointed for shelling out the few dollars that I had to see this movie that tears fell from my eyes. How did this movie ever get made? Was the head of Paramount on vacation? The only reason I would give a recommendation to see this movie would be to see the nude scene with the Debbie Sue Voorhees. Other than that, the movie is a complete waste. Some of the deaths are pretty gruesome, but not worth the hour and a half it takes to get through them all. Plus, the mind-bending twist that is revealed at the end of the film is totally stupid. I would have had a more enjoyable time watching the grass grow. Don't watch this movie, not even for the nude scene I mentioned earlier. You can find that in abundance at any video store with an adult section or, of course, online. 1 out of 10 stars. That girl's fine. Holy fuck.
The internet is better, though.
Deborah Voorhees is quite a look. All right, let's hop into our director's chair and talk about a guy by the name of Danny Steinmann. Sounds like Hootie's got a little bit to say about this guy. Who do you want to chime in?
Danny Steinmann, sadly, is confirmed. R.I.P. Passed away.
Confirmed?
Sorry.
Did you go fucking dig him up like Jason in this movie?
Oh, tread lightly.
We exhumed him.
It was just Lance Hendrickson. I have to double check things, okay? This man directed a movie called The Unseen and a film we talked about during Exorcist II Heretic, which I'm sure all of our listeners loved that episode as much as we did. And that film was Savage Streets, okay? And to go back and recap what Savage Streets is about, it is about a teen vigilante seeking revenge on a group of violent thugs who raped her handicapped sister and killed her best friend, okay?
So that was a Linda Blair vehicle, I'm assuming, if I remember correctly.
Linda Blair vehicle.
Jesus. Is that post or pre?
That's
Friday
Post.
the 13th there. Post, oh.
That's Post, yeah.
Bigger and better things for Danny.
This man read that script and was like, I could make this.
I want to see that.
But Danny Steinmann's big deal. We talked about him being a schlocky director. How he got his start is he actually directed porn.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hardcore porn.
Connections made.
A little film called High Rise back in 1973, which kind of explains why this, in my mind, and I'm sure in the mind of a lot of Jason historians, Jason heads, as we like to be called, this is like the softcore Friday the 13th movie. Because you see just as much nudity and sex as you do, like, actual gore. This is really where it started ratcheting up. Like, the amount of, like, sex and drugs and all that stuff that you come to see in these movies from here on out.
There was a lot of just random, just tit flashes in this movie.
I mean, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of quality,
I have it in my
A1
notes.
stuff I enjoyed, but yeah, strangely enough, I guess not strangely because it kind of fits his style. He was hired to write and direct the sequel to Wes Craven's Last House on the Left. He had like some sort of bicycle accident, like that fucked him up, and he had like a multi-year rehab recuperation period, and it just ruined quite a bit of his career. I don't think he directed after that, actually.
So did that movie ever get made?
Oh, the sequel to Last House on the Left? I know there was a remake, right?
I had read that he had signed a 5-picture deal, and then he had that horrific accident. I couldn't find exactly what happened, but he lost that deal after that.
Very reminiscent of the music video for Matchbox 20, where the guy gets like,
Bent?
yeah, bent.
Can you help me?
I
I'm bent.
think that music video was based on the real life incident with Danny Steinmann. The only other real crew that I wanted to talk about, Harry Manfredini's back. Once again, the composer for all the previous installments of Friday the 13th. Classic score, classic atmosphere, classic vibe. There's a few scenes where the music feels really out of place. Did you guys pick up on that at all?
I got a note in one of them.
Okay, we'll say. Are you going to talk about it when we get to the moment?
Yeah,
You wanna talk
I didn't
about
know what the hell was going on.
Okay.
Because it didn't match what I was looking at.
Like the truck, right?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the one. That's the
Yeah.
one.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page. That right there is the one that really stands out more than any of them to me, honestly. As far as special effects, Martin Becker. Once again, the MPAA butchered the fucking movie, so the final product, I'm sure, wasted Mr. Becker's talents, so we don't really have much to go based off of what we get with the final product. But I'm sure there was some pretty good special effects in there. Any of these guys you want to elaborate on, or anyone else?
I'll say, speaking of the special effects, it definitely has like that My Bloody Valentine cut to it, where every like chop or cut or stab just cuts to the next scene. I don't know if there is a better cut of it out there, but the one I saw was like horribly chopped.
Yeah, a lot of cutaways. The pun intended, I guess.
I think literally every one I saw was cut away.
It almost gave My Bloody Valentine a charm, maybe because it wasn't a character that we knew at the time, to where for Jason or the Friday the 13th franchise, it kind of pisses us off because it's like pulling its punches.
The formula is already in place at this point. We're 4 movies into this.
All right, let's hop over to some interesting factoids.
I feel like this movie's been thrown to the dustbin like those little $5 bins you see at the dollar store of movies that nobody cares about. So there's not a whole lot I could dig up, but I did find some pretty interesting bits about it. Apparently, it was not originally advertised as a Friday the 13th movie. It was called Repetition, which is a really shitty title for a movie. But a lot of the cast was unaware of what they were signing up for when they took their parts and the movie began to be made.
Yeah, I think they read they had no clue what was going on until they saw Tom Morga walking around dressed as fucking Jason Voorhees.
What the
It's like,
fuck
oh
is
shit,
this guy wearing the mask?
they got me.
But yeah, and I think probably the most tragic note of the whole damn movie here, among the unaware cast, was lead actor John Shepard, who spent several months volunteering at a state mental hospital to prepare for the role. And he felt really disappointed to discover that repetition was actually the fifth entry in the Friday the 13th series.
Oh, he definitely did.
How fucking pissed.
He pulled a fucking Daniel Day-Lewis in my left foot.
How fucking pissed would you be?
Here's the thing: you say that about Mr. Shepard,
and that's Tommy. That's
that's
the protagonist.
That's your lead. You can see in his role how serious he takes.
He really is like doing a thing.
Yes.
I don't think anybody would say good.
Well,
but
I think he actually fucking nails it. As a tormented soul, as it were. But yeah, there. The director, when he wasn't like high on cocaine, he had to be fucking telling Shepard, like, just calm it down a little bit, man. This is just a Jason movie. You need to just relax.
Hey man, you look like you really have been like you have PTSD right now, and I'm trying to get these boobies right here in the frame. So would you mind?
Would you mind just a little bit more excited about those titties, please?
Thought this is very telling now that I know. Because going into this, I was pretty blind. I did remember the chocolate bar because that's such a vivid aspect of the movie. But like how this movie actually plays out, I was lost in my memory.
Really?
So, yeah, it really was.
I fucking remember.
I was in the same spot.
I remember watching this movie a lot when we were younger.
I definitely remember like the setup a lot. The setup was definitely there up into like when spoiler alert, when Joey eats it. I definitely remembered all that. Maybe that character was just that memorable.
If Joey eats what, the fucking candy bar?
Yeah, he bites the dust as well. But unlike the one worn by the main series antagonist, Jason Voorhees, which has red stripes, the model in this one had blue stripes. A subtle hint for the audience about, spoiler alert.
Well, thank God they included that.
But yeah, I did read that, and I was like, let me watch the trailer again. Maybe I'm just an idiot and didn't. Maybe that's something I'm supposed to notice. But in the trailer, they only show Jason from the dream sequence. So he has the red markings on his masks.
Hootie, anything you want to add? Because I got a bunch of them lined up, ready to go.
I got 3, but I don't want to take anything from you.
No. I'm going to do a lot of talking here in a little bit. You know how it goes.
All right, so it's been a while, but I rented this from my public library, okay, on DVD, like somebody's grandfather.
Physical media.
What do they charge you to do that?
It's free. Pretty damn exciting. But of the 3, here we go. Because on the DVD, it has the making of, which was, let me tell you, fascinating to watch. Steinmann alleges on the making of that the producers wanted him to include a jump scare or kill every 6 to 7 minutes, which kind of makes sense when you think about it.
So I guess that kind of explains why there's just random characters introduced pretty much throughout the movie that are like killed like 5 minutes later.
The whole restaurant scene, no idea. Well, I'm sure Joy likes a part of the restaurant scene because it's showtime. But furthermore, Danny Steinmann stated that he shot a fucking porno in the woods. You wouldn't believe the nudity they cut out. He had directed a few pornos early in his career. So this dude apparently shot a full scene in those woods.
Oh, there was like 16 scenes that the MPAA were like, hey, this shit has to be altered, edited, changed in one way or another before we'll take this down from a X rating to an R rating.
Were those all nudity or were there
a lot of like sex, but there's also probably a good amount of like graphic violence and gore and stuff like that.
And of course, the money shot had to be cut out. I mean,
yeah, they had to submit the cut like each altered cut like 9 times before they were.
Well, Hootie said, of course,
approved.
the money shot was Jason's dick hanging out at one point, and I just didn't catch it. That would have been the ultimate money shot.
Jason
they pan out, and Jason's standing like off in the corner with an axe, and his dick just hanging out of the old overalls, just sitting there.
And my last,
I would pay to see.
I think you watched a spoof film. My last note is on January 13th, 2012, La La Land Records released a limited edition 6-CD box set containing Harry Manfredi scores from the first 6 Friday the 13th films. It sold out in less than 24 hours. I did a little research. This thing last sold on eBay on July 27th of this year for $125, and it was a quote-unquote worn copy.
Was it a fucking CD?
6 CDs.
Jesus.
$125 for a
You could fill your whole damn CD changer with Friday the 13th. You remember CD changers? You could
Yeah,
hold,
I
like,
have
multiple
a fucking
CDs.
my 2005 Honda Civic. Yeah, I can have my fucking
Yes.
CDs lined up.
Well, let's switch to CD number 3. You're going to love this shit, girl.
That's all I got.
It's that fucking. You gonna love this? It's that song playing where that bitch is popping and locking. All right. So more on the MPAA. They actually forced Mr. Steinmann to chop the Deborah Voorhees sex scene down to 10 seconds from 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
He shot a 3-minute long sex scene of Eddie and Tina. And he tried
Why do you keep saying Deborah Voorhees?
Her name's Deborah. Deborah
I was
Voorhees.
confused too.
That's the character's name?
No. Deborah Voorhees is the actress.
Her last name
Her
is
last
Voorhees?
name is actually fucking Voorhees.
Oh, I was getting confused as
Damn.
hell.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying Voorhees. It's like, I think, honestly, I think that's probably part of the reason she was. That was part of the
No
reason.
doubt.
It's
That's
part of the reason
audition,
she was
right?
cast, but there's two other, pretty big reasons why she was
Pretty
cast
round
Well.
orb.
in that role. But yeah,
Go and circle those.
I think Steinmann's whole deal was he was trying. Obviously, he was into like smut and shit like that. I think his whole trying to pull the wool over the MPAA's eyes was if I just show them a bunch of sex scenes and shit, maybe they'll let some of those like violence and gore and stuff like that slide. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it just got chopped.
Sounds like it could have also been the reverse of that. If I show all this blood and violence, then maybe they'll let me show Jason over here with his dick out in the standing in the cornfield.
Stroke it faster, Jason!
3 minutes is a long time.
So the script originally was written to have Corey Feldman reprise his role as Tommy, but thankfully he was busy with the Goonies.
Was it going to be like in a child's camp instead of adult? Or like 18-year-olds?
Oh, no, he was Goonies age at this point. I think he was on the older side, wasn't he?
You think he could have portrayed the older Tommy?
No, I don't think he could at all. That's what I'm saying.
It would change the story entirely, right?
Well, the crazy part is, are we really supposed to believe that the character went from looking like Corey Feldman's goofy ass to this chiseled fucking martial arts expert?
Dude was pretty jacked. Did note that when he had his little nightmare sequence.
He spent a lot of time in mental hospitals, man. He never did work out and look good.
This poor fucking guy.
Also, this is the first Friday the 13th movie where Jason is actually referred to as Jason Voorhees. Also, A New Beginning has more kills and nudity in it than any previous
God.
Friday the 13th installation.
These don't fucking count, bro.
Tickle me shocked.
These kills do not count.
There's so many just fucking cock tease kills in this movie, man. So many off-screen deaths and just cutaways and... Like, the movie has some memorable deaths, but it's definitely a more quantity over quality situation. Lastly, I have here both Gina... I was about to call this bitch Gina. Both Gina Gershon and Darcy DeMoss read and were considered for the role of Tina.
Who the hell are those two people?
Dude, I'm just fucking... You don't know who Gina Gershon is? Showgirls,
No.
Face Off.
Not ringing a bell.
The chick that Nick Cage bangs, who has the son.
Oh, yeah. She's pretty attractive lady.
Yeah, she's
she got
hot.
passed over for this?
Yeah, I think this role... I think it was
I thought
written
they wanted
in...
the eye
I
candy
think it was
here.
written in that, the character of Tina is going to be fucking for 3 minutes. So...
You're going to get plowed by Jason Voorhees
So
for 3
I think these actresses bowed out because of that. And Darcy DeMoss, we'll actually see her in the next part.
Ooh, she's coming
Part
back.
6. Yeah.
Oh, God. I
She
don't want any
actually
part of this.
Say no to me
continue.
twice. She saw this one after having read the script and still wanted to do the sequel.
Sign me up.
That's what we need. We need like a Friday the 13th musical, like a live Broadway adaptation. This is the kind of shit that needs to get made.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, Jason, I guess he wouldn't sing. Would he hum? Or would he just, like, have movements, like, that were just, like, musically inclined?
Every machete swipe is like he's conducting the whole orchestra with his machete. I think we just created a subgenre that needs to, like, probably happen.
I could definitely see, like, Freddy Krueger excelling as a...
If you say Freddy Krueger one more fucking time, dude, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I can see
Freddy
him.
Krueger is obviously the porn spoof.
I can see him excelling
Obviously.
in a horror musical for sure.
She just scratches your back. It's
Who was it?
Freddy
Steven? I guess is Sweeney Todd? That's Stephen Sondheim, right? Is that like a horror musical?
Tim Burton? What are we talking about?
No,
Johnny Depp?
Sweeney Todd. Like the
Attend
actual
the tale of Sweeney
playwright.
Todd.
Yeah, it was Stephen Sondheim, right?
Oh, I'm not sure who wrote the...
But yeah, that's like a horror
the
musical,
music.
right?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of horror adjacent, but we need to get like one of the big pop culture horror icons in there. I guess the Joker's kind of still in that idea right now. Damn it.
That movie's gonna be so fucking dope.
I'm excited for that.
I guess, do we have the box office information? I know we kind of made it a tradition now to talk about that. Not very important with Friday the 13th movies. They make fucking money. That's why they keep putting them out, or kept putting them out for a while anyway.
Damn near 10 times the budget back here. $2.2 million budget. Box office, $21.9 million.
It's pretty
10
much
times.
10 times. Yeah. You know how they get away with that, right? It's because they don't have to get any actors that are like known.
They don't have to get a script. What are you talking about? Who the fuck? Nobody wrote
Show
this.
up, little costumes, some chocolate bars.
This is like a made-for-TV movie fucking premise that they applied to a Jason movie.
Oh, $10 million for lighting and VFX? Nah, we got it. We're just going to cut away every time we pretend to stab somebody.
And without further ado, the boys at Horrible Film School bring you Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning.
Spoiler alert.
Here, Vic, want a bite? Here. I'll just put it over here. And later on, when you're hungry, you can have it. Well, if that's the way you feel, forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
In a rain-soaked graveyard under a torrential downpour, two men work to exhume a body from a fresh grave while a young Tommy Jarvis looks on in secret from the surrounding brush. Within the wooden coffin, they find the worm-ridden body of Jason Voorhees, who springs to life, driving a machete and an owl into the gut and throat of his grave robbers. Frozen in fear, Tommy watches on as the hulking zombie lurches forward, machete in hand, and brings it down on him with all his might. But it was all a dream, as a now 17-year-old sullen Tommy awakens on his way to the Pinehurst Youth Development Center from the Younger Institute of Mental Health. After his arrival, Assistant Director Pam Roberts and Dr. Matt Letter welcome their latest patient to his new home, where it is hoped he may finally rehabilitate himself and re-enter society free from the trauma suffered all those years ago at Camp Crystal Lake. Quite a bit to unpack. Let's go ahead and unpack the first part of it. Corey Feldman reprises his role as young Tommy Jarvis.
Squints. Oh, yeah. Tommy at 12. I think is his official designation here.
In recent news, Corey Feldman is opening for Limp Bizkit on their Loserville tour.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah, and he's fucking killing it. He is murdering everybody.
You are lying like
People
hell.
are loving this shit.
He's the comeback kid.
Would you quit acting like you weren't listening to that shit when I got to your house the other day?
Oh, I love the comeback kid. Comeback kid. Comeback kid.
But yeah, Corey Feldman, he's playing the 12-year-old Tommy here. I read that they shot this scene in Corey Feldman's backyard with a rain machine. Like, that's how, like, we gotta get somebody in here that somebody fucking recognizes. So the whole dream sequence, which is the only part that he's in, I don't think he has any dialogue in this whole movie, does he?
I think he screams like no or some shit when he's about to get
there's
chopped.
a lot of no. Yeah, all that was shot like in his parents' backyard with their permission. So
Apparently Steinmann
There's your
was
production value.
dogging his ass during this fucking scene. Like, he was mad at this kid or some shit. Because he wouldn't keep his eyes open. He wouldn't keep his fucking eyes open with the water and shit hitting him.
There's a lot of fucking rain, man. And he's
Steinmann
wearing
kept
glasses.
telling him how terrible he was at acting and all this other shit.
Jesus Christ. I feel like the kid was doing him a favor.
I had a note that it looked like it was a damn tsunami was hitting the Crystal Lake area. Joey, I thought you were going to bring up a more potentially relevant topic with Corey Feldman, as he was in The Crow, Stairway to Heaven.
Is it like a music video or something?
No, that was a movie. That was a full fledged
okay.
show.
Was he the Crow?
He was the Crow.
He was the Crow!
He was the Crow.
Holy shit!
We're not talking about Edward Furlong, are we?
Yeah, I better say who played the Crow better, him or Edward Furlong?
They're going tit for tat. If it's Edward Furlong, I'm going to lose my shit.
God, why do those movies fucking suck dick, dude?
But on a side note, during his dream, why the hell was Jason buried with his weapons in hand?
Oh, he was buried with his weapons, his fucking mask, his fucking suit.
Yeah.
He had it all.
He got his damn boots on.
Even all right, let's go ahead and break it down a little bit more. Why was he buried under 2 feet of dirt? This motherfucker wasn't even buried underground. They put a pile of dirt on top of his corpse like he was a cartoon.
Tommy's terrified of this man, obviously. But I think there's like so much more cool shit you could do with Jason where he's in a dream sequence. But then, yeah, John Shepard as the, you said 17-year-old Tommy?
Yeah,
Clearly,
17.
he's like 25, but yeah, anyway, 17-year-old Tommy. Dude was in great shape.
Brick
He
shit
looked
house.
he looks so familiar. Nothing. No credits.
Oh,
that I could
really,
find.
Chris?
No career.
Really?
He had
No
like
real
a
career
he had
outside
like
of
a
this.
bit part in The Hunt for Red October. And that's like it.
Yeah, that's what I got. He played the Foxtrot pilot.
Oh my God. The dude from Troll 2. I think that's what I saw in him.
All right, I can see the guy from Troll 2 growing up to be fucking.
I think that was my wires crossing there. But yeah, who'd he shitting on John Shepard? I thought he was going for something here, man.
Maybe, but it just kind of fell apart. The
It just didn't fit the tone of the film. That probably undercuts it.
It was way off.
Well, who do you like Joey said, that supposedly some people see this as a comedy. So if you're seeing this as a comedy, then I could see you thinking this performance is dog shit. What was the intentionality? We don't know. No one knew making this damn movie.
I was watching a lost film, like I was watching a lost footage or something.
It is almost like he's the only one taking the movie seriously. Or taking his performance seriously, anyway.
I said, what about the dude, the casual porn magazine, the loony bin attendant guy? He's like in the passenger seat, just like flipping through porn.
Look, he had to confiscate that shit from Tommy.
Wait till you meet Pam.
Speaking of Pam, played by Melanie Kinnaman, credited as the woman from Best of the Best, I actually listened to a radio interview she did with some jockey talking about how her scenes were cut from the movie, and but she's still credited as being in the movie. She was the like love interest of Eric Roberts, but they cut it. They cut that shit entirely from the movie.
Yeah, my one note said co-starred with Eric Roberts in the 1989 film Best of the Best, which we've referenced way too many times on this podcast.
And I still haven't watched.
It's a very shitty man's blood sport.
Yeah, but you get to see Sean Penn beat the shit out of some Koreans.
Fight to survive.
And that movie has nothing on Bloodsport.
Are we going to just skip over the fact that this film got the most just budget-friendly, blandest opening credit scene of black background, white lettering?
I feel like they're rehashing one of the, was it 3? 3 had the 3D like opening, right? Because that was the big selling point for part 3. It's like they took that text and just slapped it on the screen. It was like, all right, we'll just leave it. It's fine. You mentioned Matt Leader, right? Matt Letter?
Yeah, Matt Letter, played by
Mr.
Richard Young.
Dick Young, if you will. So young Dick, he gained prominence starring in the opening sequence of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade from 1989.
You know, that's a franchise I've never dived into.
I'm in the same spot as you.
I've never seen any of them.
This shows a bit of my age here. I did a run when I first got Netflix. Not streaming Netflix. The fucking DVDs that you get shipped to the house.
In the mail.
Got all 3 of them in the mail. Yep, that was my exposure to Indiana Jones. So that was like, what, 2006 or something?
They came in those like razor-thin paper envelopes.
Yep. Here was the hack that I did back in the day. Like The Sopranos. This was before everything was on streaming. Sopranos, they'll send you one disc at a time. So you want to watch the whole season, it's going to take you like 6 mail-ins to get them all. So I get the disc, and the mail would deliver at like noon. I would burn it to my computer and send it back before 5 o'clock.
I remember this.
So I kept a constant cycle of me just pirating physical media back in the day. Did the same thing with South Park.
And now that's on the internet, Chris. Lock your door.
I hope the
That's
fuck,
on
I
it's
hope
in a
the
binder
fucking
somewhere.
Police break your door
I don't have
down.
access to it anymore.
Internet police gonna come and put you in chains, digital chains.
You know, people you used to find like your uncle's porn stash on top of the dresser back in the day. Some kid somewhere out there is going to find my binder of pirated Netflix DVDs. That's all I have to offer the generation coming up.
Richard Young looked like somebody, like he looked like a movie actor.
Looks like Harrison Ford.
I couldn't place him. Maybe that's the connection, Harrison Ford, but he just looked like he should have had a career. And I looked at his IMDb and I was wrong.
I thought he looked like the damn lead singer of Diamond Rio. Maybe that's a weird pull.
Quite a connection.
It's that haircut,
What
man.
fucking song do they have? Like, what's
You
their?
stop
what's their-
walking my
I start
way.
walking your way. and
You start walking
mine.
mine. So we meet in the middle. Meet that whole Georgia pine.
We gain a lot of ground. Because we both give a little.
Damn,
All
y'all
right, that's all we
motherfuckers
can
know the
sing.
whole fucking.
There ain't a
we'll
road
get
too
sued.
long. We meet in the middle. Don't sue us, please.
I wish one of these people would look like Brooks and Dunn so we could sing Brooks and Dunn songs. Settling into his room, Tommy meets the cook's grandson, Reggie, and watches from his window as the rest of his Pinehurst cohorts, as well as their prickly neighbors Ethel and Junior Hubbard, exchange words about trespassing and fornication on the Hubbard's property, warning of a deadly outcome if it were to happen again. Sometime later, token fat guy Joey, covered in chocolate, tries to help Preppy. I guess she's Preppy. She had like a fucking scarf around her neck. He tries to help Preppy Robin and Edgy Violet with the laundry, covering the sheets in duty brown stains.
Doo-doo.
Dejected by being a perpetual fuck up, he lends his non-existent lumberjack expertise to hothead Vic, who thanks him with an axe to the back, and to the neck, and head, and torso, over and over again to the horror of the onlookers. Paramedics arrive soon after, removing the butchered body of Joey, while the police do the same to the stone-faced, remorseless Vic.
Vinny gets to whacking, boy.
What the fuck was with the Vic chopping? Is it like his therapy? What the hell was he doing?
All I thought about was Ryan Reynolds from Amityville Horror the whole time.
He was just like getting rage out. He's not chopping in a very like efficient
Oh, no.
manner.
He's chopping in a very it's not...
He's not making firewood.
You're not attempting to get anything done. You're making something as hard as it can be because you're chopping against the fucking bark.
Yeah, he's beating like at weird fucking angles, just smashing it, just watching Joey chomp on that chocolate bar. Just waiting for his big ass to come over here and say something stupid.
Wait, maybe I haven't had chocolate in a while, but they look like the creamiest, milkiest
That was a
chocolate
thick-ass
bar.
bar,
Here's the
dog.
thing, you know this motherfucker
Man.
knows the good chocolate. And back then, the chocolate had like, it didn't have just high fructose. It had actual cane sugar, the good shit.
This was like some shrinkflation right here, dog. This was back when the damn Hershey's was like a half-inch thick. And watching him smear his dirty-ass hands on that clean sheet just went all over me, man.
It's okay because Vinny took right away care of that.
What's wild is they actually put the duty sheet on his body.
Oh, is it? Damn, did they put that sheet on him?
Oh yeah, it was already covered in duty, so you might as well put
This
the
is already
blood
dirty.
sheet on her too.
But yeah, it reminded me of Andy. You remember he was making breakfast for his mom in the first Child's Play? And he was spilling milk and shit all over the counter.
When he had the
God,
fucking
man.
tray, and he was just walking and he bouncing side to side. And
Spilling milk on the carpeted floor. Ugh. Made me want to clean some shit up. I don't
Milk
know.
on carpet is rough.
But yeah, Joey, it's this fucking guy. This whole sequence here was like all I really remembered from this movie from my childhood. I just remember him being like the way he spoke and him being like, "You're being a real jerk, Vic." And he speaks in a very like, I don't know the PC term for it anymore.
Careful.
But he's not the smartest man in the crayon box. And then axe just goes at his ass. And all the chopping you just alluded to, we don't see any of that.
You just see sweat flying off his glistening body.
when they finally reveal his corpse up under the sheet, that shit was fucking brutal. It looked so good. Like, all right, it looked really, really good, right? But what the fuck was the paramedic doing, pulling this shit off in front of everybody and just showing them? And when everybody reacted by like looking away and crying and shit,
Bunch of pussies.
Bunch of pussies.
Yeah, I think he was like some macabre weird fucker who was like, I was gonna freak these fucking 17-year-olds out.
So at this point, we've met Reggie, played by Shavar Ross. Who was
Reggie the Reckless, baby.
It takes different strokes. It takes different strokes to rule the world.
This was Gary Coleman's best friend in the NBC sitcom Different Strokes.
What a friend to have.
Apparently, he was also in Family Matters. He played a character named Weasel. I have no memory of him.
He put me in the mind of like their insert for a young Tommy Jarvis.
Oh, you thought he was like, we're supposed to sympathize with him?
Not sympathize with him, but same like as much as audiences liked Corey Feldman as Tommy, I feel like they were going for the same thing with Shavar. Because he's got the movie we just watched, The People Under the Stairs, like how Fool was in that movie. He was very likable.
Charismatic, yeah.
Very similar characters.
It's like they were going for the same vibe with Shavar. Or Reggie.
Reggie Winter is the character's name. Doesn't have the same staying power as Tommy Jarvis, but him in that damn red jumpsuit, I definitely remember that being a big part of the movie too. I remember his little jumpsuit and Joey's big ass with chocolate all over his face getting fucked up.
Joey's big ass.
Joey's big old dumb ass. Also, I think we met the sheriff here already when they were settling the dispute between the neighbors and then the kids. Like, oh, they've been fucking on my property. But that guy, Sheriff Tucker's played by Marco St. John, who I only mention because he is known as the horny truck driver in the 1991 film Thelma and Louise.
Sir.
Well, look, more importantly, you mentioned the sheriff. Let's talk about the deputy, played by Richard Lineback, baby.
He had one of those guy faces. What is he from?
Varsity Blues, dog.
Yeah,
he's exactly Lance's dad. Fire that fucking
I know this guy. I know this fucking guy, but I don't know how, so I'm going to let someone else educate me.
Y'all are killing me. Y'all both are killing me.
Motherfucker said, well, I
don't
guess
tell me he was in Blood Wings or some shit.
Deputy died. Richard Lineback was in Twister, Speed, Natural Born Killers, and The Ring, besides Varsity Blues.
Who the fuck remembers any of those movies?
Also,
did any of those movies stick in my head 20 years later?
Well, Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, they all kind of did.
Moxon lead the fucking team to a goddamn national title in any of those other movies?
Good fucking movies.
Did their sons go to Brown?
Did John fucking Voight, Anaconda fame, deliver any speeches to those sons of bitches?
Marco St. John was in Monster. I think that won an Academy Award. And The Punisher, where he played the police chief. And you two guessed it. We have yet another Thomas Jane.
All right, the fucking podcast is over. I'm unplugging my microphone.
Yes. That took a lot of research, boy.
T. Jane, baby. We got to get Tom on this podcast at some point. You said he was police chief.
He was the police chief of the Miami-Dade County.
No. You didn't say he was the police chief. You said he was police chief.
He was his police chief. Name. That was his role.
Okay. Just verify. Just verify. He had a bigger role in this where he had a last name. Okay. Dude, what do you guys think about the lady next door?
About fucking Ethel?
She comes in fucking hard, bro.
She was
entertaining
funny as hell.
She got some good one-liners in here. You big dildo. That was one of my favorites.
And she, unlike Tommy, fits the tone of the film. So
that's the director's fault, man. This dude went to a fucking insane asylum, Hootie, and studied for weeks.
I understand. Good for
and
him.
Then you told him, guess who's chasing you? Jason Voorhees.
I hate to tell you, I study hard for math tests, and I still sucked at it.
I can't make the numbers work.
So imagine you studying like 3 months for algebra, and then you get there, and they're like, it's an art test, idiot.
I might have done better. But anyway.
So any of these actors we want to talk about? I know we rattled off quite a few names here.
I got goose eggs on any of these children.
Robin, I could talk about her a little bit. Juliet Cummings, besides having a baller-ass last name, she was actually a U.S. national gymnast for 14 years. prior to being an actress or
a long time.
pursuing acting.
You said 14 years?
Yeah, she was actually going to compete in the 80s Olympics, but that was boycotted because of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. We used to be friends with Afghanistan, boys and girls. Go read a history book.
Well, here comes a history podcast.
She was also had a role in Psycho 3. Chris as the resident.
You don't know how many times you some bitches have come this close to having to watch the first Psycho.
Dear
just so that I
God,
can start the
please don't
process of
make
getting
me.
to those sequels.
The first one or the remake with Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, was Psycho 3,
Wow.
is it good?
Wow.
I think I know
I
the
never
answer.
made it past the first one
Yeah, I didn't
because
think
there's-
so.
it's like Jaws. I don't need to see the other ones.
The only other actor I really wanted to talk about here was Mark Venturini as Victor. Dude is 6'5". He's a fucking hoss. But he had a role in The Return of the Living Dead alongside somebody else we'll talk about later in the movie. Hootie, you're the resident Living Dead fan. Is
Deadhead.
that a good entry or what?
Yes. There's another person in this film from the Living Dead series as well, so I'll talk about that later on.
Good. I just said
Who
that
is
same
Hell of a review
I
there.
just said that same
He
shit.
says yes.
Oh, sorry. I was
No,
reading
it's
my
fine.
notes.
It's all good.
My bad.
There's too many There's too many movies in that. I don't
Oh,
know, do you consider it a
there's
franchise?
Too many fucking movies in that.
Is it considered a franchise, or is it
in
like?
that
Well, there's
series? Or,
Is it like the MCU? Is not a franchise, you know?
You boys are killing me. There's two separate universes. There's the
Timelines?
George A. Romero universe, and then there are his
my
buddies'
God.
universe, which is the Living Dead series. Two separately different entities.
Where's the Zack Snyder universe?
And then there's the whole Italian universe with that guy who made like City of the Dead.
Before we move on, there's a bit of exposition here that I feel is important to go over for an eventual reveal later on in the movie. Matt and the sheriff talk about how Joey's mother died in childbirth, and his father soon abandoned him after, leaving him to the foster care system. So Joey has a father out there somewhere.
I wonder who it could be.
I wonder who it could possibly be, because the movie doesn't really tell you, but it definitely goes out of its way to give you quite a few hints.
Yeah, this is a red herring. Is this a Scooby-Doo episode of a movie?
Ruh,
It
ruh.
definitely gives you like the long pause on some sideways glances here.
I bet that person knows where to find thick, creamy chocolate bars.
I bet you whoever this father figure is used to buy him chocolate bars and would like hide them around his room and shit so he could find them. And that was his
What is
way
this,
of
heavyweights?
expressing love. Because his father abandoned him, though. Yeah, he had a guilt.
Well, he should have been in the Ben Stiller camp instead of this home for orphan children.
Ooh, deli meat. Does he fucking say?
He pulls like a salami out of that kid's backpack or whatever. Ooh, look, a deli meat.
Later that night, stranded on a deserted road nearby, a couple of greasers work on their broken down ride, with the pair ultimately meeting their demise at the hands of a mysterious killer. Vinny, who's forced to lend a Lovelace a lit road flare, and Pete, whose throat is slit after returning from taking a gabagool feud shit. Back at Pinehurst, a tortured Tommy deals with visions of the past. Visions of Jason Voorhees haunting his every breath, with his medication being his only saving grace. The next morning, the residents gather for breakfast, with Eddie introducing himself to Tommy by stealing one of his custom masks and scaring the newbie. In kind, Tommy introduces himself by slamming Eddie through a table and beating the crap out of him to the collective horror of his bunkmates. Dr. Matt restrains his newest patient, and the teen's rage eventually subsides. That evening, after authorities locate the bodies of the two greasers from last night, Tommy's Unger escort, Billy, meets up with luscious Lana at a diner. Waiting outside while she freshens up, Billy enjoys some blow before finding himself on the business end of an axe, splitting the top of his skull. Unaware of her beau's fate, Lana makes her way outside and to her doom as well, the same felling tool being buried in her chest cavity. It's showtime.
Such a weird scene.
I wasn't expecting it, so it was quite a pleasant little surprise, if I'm being honest with you.
So this dude rolls up to this restaurant, just sporting male pattern baldness.
Laying on the horn, just pulling down the hottest waitress in town.
And this
First
woman
of
goes to the
all,
bathroom and just checks her titties.
When a man goes bald, Hootie, that is a sign of excessive testosterone. So
this is a fact.
all these bald men you see have really big balls that are full of seed.
I guess you knew that.
So check your fucking self.
You could also just shave your head, like the Michael Jordan, Jason Statham look. This guy went into like the thick sides.
Over here.
Oh, he went with the horseshoe look. Yeah. Yeah, like the dude's in the car. He's like, hey, man, keep working on the car. I got to take a crap. All right? Do people just shit in the woods? Is that like a thing?
You ain't never shit in the woods.
I got to go take a crap.
Hey,
In adulthood, no, I haven't.
Well, you ain't got. Look, I'm telling you, when you've been fucking the gabagool, the mozzarella, the risotto, when you've been fucking shoveling that shit down all night, you gotta take a dump eventually. And when you're fucking stranded on the side of the road, there's only one place to shit, Chris.
Follow me, boys. I think that there's a subplot in this film of a random small town enchilada stand that affects multiple characters.
You think he's just giving everybody food poisoning?
Food poisoning is the villain of this piece. You just like Tommy going fucking the Dudley brothers on his ass. Gonna throw him through that table. That was fucking badass. Tommy snap on the sumbitch.
Dude, Tommy picked him up and slammed him through that table like a fucking suplex style. That shit was crazy.
I really like Tommy in this, man.
I'm picking up on
I
that.
thought Tommy was great.
I had the feeling going into it, especially once I kind of got the gist of where it was going, that this is dog shit. And everybody in this movie is a terrible actor, but I thought he was all right.
A lot of his acting is
He sticks with it.
It's a physical performance. Like I think he has less than like 50 words or probably less than like 30 lines of dialogue. Like he does not speak very much. But you can tell with his expressions, his body language and shit, just how much of an effect the events of Friday the 13th Part 4 had on the character.
Them traps, man, obviously he works out, so he's got some demons you got to get out of him.
Me and my brother used to play the Friday the 13th video game.
Oh, yeah.
Which has since been just not even updated at all. I think it's dead. But Tommy Jarvis was the special character that shows up just ready to whoop ass.
Yeah, he's the nuke in Call of Duty. Once you get him, it's game over. Which apparently he comes back up in this franchise, is that right?
Yeah. Jason Lives. Spoiler alert.
Coming up next.
Jason Lives is like the culmination of the Tommy Jarvis storyline.
But yeah, I heard the death in the cars. This is the point, I think, when... Is it Tina? She's the blonde waitress?
No, that's Lana.
Lana, sorry. Well, when she gets got, that's kind of when I started to get annoyed with these kills. Because at this point, you get the rhythm. Every single one of them. Boots on the ground. They're running from an off-camera villain. We see a hand holding some sort of weapon coming towards the camera. Cut to the victim's face. They scream, and it's over. That's literally at this point, we've seen it like 4 times in 10 minutes. And it's starting to get old fast.
Well, at this point, it's like it's shown as a mysterious killer, too. It's not like you have a definitive, hey, okay, this is a Friday the 13th movie, but they're not really showing Jason's, like,
you never see the hockey
face or
mask.
anything. You don't
We haven't
see
seen
it.
him really at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming into this as, I'm guessing the audience did back in the 80s, like, is it not obvious at this point?
I feel like, too, where they have this movie take place on what is essentially a fucking a farm for crazy people who have homicidal tendencies. Like, you see Vic, you see how Tommy reacts to just somebody scaring him, and then we didn't really talk about it, but there's a scene where Tommy goes to his room for the first time and he's like, fucking this big ass knife he's got. Like, he's literally staring at this knife like it's the only thing in the world that he cares about. It's kind of painting him in a picture where he may not be the most straightforward protagonist.
I guess that's kind of what I'm putting forth here is like the theory. It's showing you all these red herrings. Like, it could be this guy, it could be that guy. This guy's fucking crazy. This guy's like stalks people. So was it being pitched in real time when this came out as Jason is completely off the board? Was that like public knowledge going into this?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think people seeing the mask, the hockey mask, on the poster makes people think, hey, this is going to be Jason. But at the same time, we're also seeing the continuation of the storyline from the final chapter. So we know that he is, or we're pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Because at this point, this is not zombie Jason. This is still, hey, I'm a superhuman, but I'm still human.
And I think with a better director, he could have cultivated the red herring a little bit better with each character.
Yeah, because a lot of the timing, like logically, you can X off a lot of people off of the list, like immediately.
Reggie, number one, marked off.
Clearly, yeah, like Reggie couldn't be here. Like Tommy's clearly not even in this location right now. It's not a movie built on logic, but the logic falls apart. If we're saying this is being framed as a whodunit, it is a bit sloppy.
Well, you say that, but I also think the way they portray Tommy, you can't really take what you see from his character's point of view as actual reality. Like a lot of the times when you see him seeing stuff, it's like literally he's imagining shit or he's dreaming. So I think it's very possible he could be in these locations. The visions of his tormentor continue for Tommy back at Pinehurst, while the town mayor hounds the sheriff and his deputies to find the killer terrorizing his town. Elsewhere, forever horny, Eddie and Tina get cozy once again on Ethel Hubbard's land, putting on a show for the dirty nomad working at the hillbilly's place. Just before he can test fire the old meat missile, the wanderer discovers he's not alone. A large knife driven into his gut and left to bleed out. Eddie busts and heads off to wash up, whatever the fuck that means, leaving his bare-chested lover to soak in the summer sun. Closing her eyes, Tina fails to hear the approaching footsteps, only acknowledging her murderer's presence with a short-lived scream as a pair of garden shears are driven into her eyes, Cropsey style. Nice and clean from his pig farm river bath, Eddie returns, discovering the enucleated, that means having the eyes cut out, enucleated husk of Tina. Mortified, he stumbles back into a tree and is bound to it, a leather strap covering his orbital sockets and wound tighter and tighter with a stick until his head caves in from the pressure. The garrote breaks and his lifeless carcass falls to the ground. Best 2 kills of the fucking movie right here.
Death by Tourniquet was pretty original. I'll give you that one.
That shit was wild. I fucking love the shears. I love the way they shot it, where you literally just saw
I was annoyed with the shears.
Really?
I was as well.
No, I love how the shears are driven in and you can see them and hear them close. Oh, I fucking love it.
It comes in and there's like a twist, like the injury didn't match the emotion to me.
I thought he chopped her head off.
Exactly. It seemed like it was way more gruesome.
Here's what he did. He stuck the fucking shears in the bitch's eyes and then fucking shut them. Literally cutting her fucking from her eyes to like the inside of her nose. Like,
well, I didn't get that from the image.
Oh, no. Look, you need to go back and check that out. It
looked like it was just a straight pluck.
It looked so
like Three
fucking
Stooges
good.
type shit.
Oh, and you can hear like the cartilage and the fucking bone and the meat just like, oh, it's so good. You need to go back and rewatch it. But if anything, rewatch that little part.
I did like the tourniquet though. I haven't seen that before.
At some point back here, Sheriff Tucker believes that Jason Voorhees has come back, to which the mayor says he's been in the sun too long because Jason was cremated. I only bring that up because is that brought up going forward in the franchise?
Yeah, I don't know where he's getting this Jason his ashes logic from because we haven't seen that.
No.
It's just like dumped there.
Just
like,
an exposition type deal, yeah.
Well,
he holds up the fucking ashtray. This is Jason right here.
I know who it is. It's Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees? You out of your fucking mind. You've been out in the sun too long. Jason Voorhees is dead. His body was cremated. He's nothing but a handful of ash.
Yeah, the fucking mayor comes in hard as fuck for one scene.
Make a note of that. Cremated. All right.
Is this movie canon? I guess I can ask that question right now. Is it?
In the Jason verse?
I guess it doesn't matter to Jason one fucking bit.
One fucking bit.
I don't think he gives a shit if this happened or not.
Hey, Jason, somebody cosplayed as you. All right.
Oh, okay. That was when I was taking that nap.
So
I was in that guy's ashtray.
Mayor Cobb is played by Rick Mancini, who he had a bit part in Ghostbusters, but he also had a bit part in Ready to Rumble, where he was like a front row fan.
Oh shit!
Front
You
row
talking about
fan.
the David Arquette fucking joint.
What do you
Damn.
fucking think I'm talking about, bro?
1998. Crown Me. What'd you think about this sex scene? This one
my
played out a little bit
God,
longer than I
her
thought it would.
Tits are fucking gorgeous. She.
Nice looking lady there.
This is Deborah, aka Debbie Sue Voorhees. Last name Voorhees. We talked about it earlier. Actual last name.
This is Voorhees.
She worked as a Playboy bunny at one of the Playboy bunny clubs before starting her film career. It is very, very apparent. She's got some blessings. Amen. Amen.
And she did good enough in her role. It didn't require a lot of
Talking.
acting.
She didn't fucking talk. I don't think. Oh yeah.
I liked watching her sunbathe for 5
Jeez,
minutes.
that was
nice.
that was sexy, boy. Yeah, apparently like filming this scene for her was like torture. They filmed it for like 13 hours, and a lot of the time she had the makeup on her eyes, and she was having to be like posed and shit, like without being able to see by like a mostly male crew.
I mean, I guess it's got to be pretty awkward. Like, get naked and pretend like you did for hours at a time.
That seems like the director made that last longer than it should.
Well, no, you think about it, like a 3-minute sex scene, it's going to take a while to get, all the shots you're wanting to get. And then you got prosthetics to worry about, and you got her makeup to worry about.
Right. We got to break for lunch. We got to reapply that makeup. You're going to have to be topless in the makeup
Don't
chair.
you fucking dress for lunch.
You keep your top off when we eat those hoagies.
I feel like the way, I hope it doesn't sound weird, but I feel like the way that Steinmann shot like the actual sunbathing scene was kind of like artsy. Did you get that at
definitely
all?
had more cinematic flair than anything else I think he does in this movie. You could tell like he was enjoying himself on set that day. He was actually like, how can I make this look beautiful?
Yeah, I got this beautiful creature here. Let me go ahead and make this scene beautiful as well before we chop her fucking face up.
Yeah.
As the great Clarence Carter said, she looked sassified.
That night, Pam and Reggie, along with a reluctant Tommy, head to a nearby trailer park to visit Reggie's brother, leaving the remaining residents and staff behind. While Reg and the assistant director hang out with the charismatic demon, Tommy J has a run-in with Junior that leaves the hick bruised and battered. Pam interrupts before he can perform his fatality, prompting him to run off into the woods with his caretaker and young friend close behind in pursuit. In the meantime, Demon's Cartman-esque dinner gives him the bubble guts, leaving his girlfriend free to terrorize him outside of the park's makeshift shitter. Before long, however, her giggles fall silent and the shithouse begins to shake. Angrily, Demon bursts through the door to find his girlfriend dead at his feet, her throat slashed. Cowering back into the safety of the outhouse, he soon joins her in darkness, a spiked metal bar ramming through the sheet metal and out his chest. Unable to find Tommy, Pam and Reggie arrive back at Pinehurst, only to find Matt and George missing as well. The assistant director decides to leave the group of troubled teens on their own and heads off in search of whoever she can find. So George, that's Reggie's grandpa. I don't think we cover him at all.
He's like the cook for the camp.
He's like the
pretty
cook.
much.
I think he's like the custodian. He just does like odd and end shit.
Caretaker.
He's the camp hand.
People be shitting in this movie, dude. There's a lot of people taking dumps in this movie.
I mean, it's a natural part of life.
I mean, but it's on camera.
When's the last time
He
you
was on
took a shit
the
in?
shitter for like 5 minutes.
That's today. I had a lot of prunes.
That's what I thought. What the fuck?
A lot of prunes.
A lot of prunes?
Multiple prunes.
Doctor's orders, I got to eat prunes every day.
You ain't shit enough. Time to eat prune.
That's about what he said.
See, I just drank a lot of broth.
So Reggie is played by, what's this actor's name?
We already talked about Reggie.
Demon?
Oh, not Reggie. I'm sorry. Demon. Joanna Man himself.
Miguel A. Nunez Jr. Ay, 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 ay.
I've been waiting to covered Miguel A. Nunez Jr. for a long time.
Is he proud of this movie?
It was his first big role, so I would hope so.
Dude, that fucking Jerry curl he's got in this movie, man.
It's tight as fuck.
It looks so good.
It's got a lot of sheen to it.
Miguel A. Nunez Jr. is an actor who just kept popping up in my childhood in random films, and here we go. The Return of the Living Dead, Action Jackson, Harlem Nights, Lethal Weapon 3, Street Fighter, Slam Dunk Ernest, Leprechaun 4, In Space, Nutty Professor 2, Scooby-Doo, and of course, Joanna Man.
Joanna Man, the Brittany Griner story.
Every one of those I've seen multiple times, including Action Jackson.
I have no recollection of about half of those. I've seen them, but I don't remember him in them. Slam Dunk Ernest. That's a slam
Bullshit,
dunk.
you didn't remember him in the fucking Street Fighter adaptation with Jean-Claude and Raul Julia.
Did he have a rat tail?
Yes. He was one of M. Bison's henchmen.
This dude was just a fucking everyman.
You want to hit him with the M. Bison quote? One of the fucking coldest quotes in it. I think we talked about it on the show before. But it's still hands down one of the coldest fucking quotes ever in a movie.
For you, it was the worst day of your life. But for me, it was a Tuesday.
Gotcha, bitch.
Fuck you, Chung Lee.
I feel bad for Miguel because every film I just named, he was a smaller character, except for Joanna Man.
Joanna Man was his coming out party. That's like his baby.
I'm here, we out here. This was like 15 years into his career, though.
Yes, it was.
Poor man can't take a dump in peace. Is there anything more irritating than someone fucking with you while you're trying to take a shit? It's like one of your most vulnerable positions that anybody can be in.
I remember throwing one of my cousins out of the fucking house one time when they was messing with me while I was trying to take a shit.
This is like Emerald Lagasse turned up a notch because not only is he taking a dump, but he's got like a raging Taco Bell runny heat stream.
Oh, I said Cartman-esque dinner. The motherfucker was eating pizza, enchiladas, egg rolls, and fucking tacos. Knowing he was probably washing it down with like a 40 or something.
He was trying to impress his lady, man.
Dude, she was fine as hell too.
On top of all that, you got to shit right in front of your lady, and she knows you're there shitting.
And she starts singing to you.
His lady was Jer Fields, playing the character of Anita. She appeared in Rick James's music videos for his 1981 hit, Give It To Me, Baby, and 83's Ebony Eyes.
Ooh.
What about the song they were singing while he was taking a shit to each other?
Trying to take a shit and
Hey,
singing.
baby. Hey, baby. Ooh, baby.
Oh, God.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, my fucking ass. I've had so many prunes. He's 4 prunes in, man. Slow the fuck down.
Yo, what about that ass whooping Tommy put on Junior?
Tommy is fucking swole,
Motherfucker was hitting him with the goddamn combo breaker. You see that shit where he started punching him, right? Then he started hitting him. He hit him in his fucking gut, but he was hitting him with the do.
Yeah, they clearly cut to a stuntman for some reason here.
I don't know, man. We know that actor like is shredded.
I hate to break it to you, that was a fucking stuntman in that fight scene.
I don't know, man. It'd be hard to convince me of that. The scene where they're driving to the trailer park in that Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. The fucking music
is raging.
I'm sitting there on edge, gritting my fucking teeth while they're driving this vehicle, and it is like literally pounding, like pulse pounding type music. Nothing fucking happens.
It's really fast violin. Lots of fast violin.
Maybe it was on the radio. Maybe Pam was just listening.
She was listening to shit with a psychopath in her car. She's trying to trigger this dude.
I expect them to hit a deer, hit Jason, hit something with that damn truck.
That's probably like, we got this one really good piece of music, and there's no tension in this fucking movie to use it, so just throw it in somewhere. You wanted ominous tones? Is that what you wanted instead of the...
I just don't need psycho violins while somebody's driving a truck.
You just needed like a...
On the road.
Like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Oh, the masturbating dog killer is at it again. Bong.
At the Hubbard homestead, Junior takes out his frustration by doing some sweet donuts on his dirt bike in the backyard, all while Ethel berates him from inside. Burning rubber past a large tree, a meat cleaver swings the last second from behind it, taking the Simpleton's head clean from his shoulders. Moments later, that same cleaver bursts through a rear-facing window, embedding itself in Ethel's forehead, leaving her face down in her large pot of rancid stew. Continuing her hunt, Pam finds herself stranded as the sinner's old Ford finally kicks the bucket. Left with no other option, she abandons the vehicle and proceeds on foot. Back at the crazy farm, Jake strikes out with Robin and is totally blown off by Violet. But lucky for him, the mystery killer is always down to plow and gives the old stutterer a quickie. A quick release from life, that is. Leaving Reggie to sleep on the couch downstairs, Robin retires to her room upstairs, disrobing and crawling into the top bunk of her bed. Rolling over, she screams in horror as she comes face to face with Jake's remains. A hand reaches from below, wrapping around her neck, or her throat, long enough for a 2-foot-long machete to be shoved through her spine. Next door, with the music blaring, popping and locking, training for a shot at Olympic breaking gold, Vi is oblivious to the carnage surrounding her, up until the same carnage finds her, a machete in her guts, and her dying meat sack sprawled on the floor. So this Vi kill, one of the worst in the movie, fucking terrible. The original kill, she literally has a machete shoved up her pussy.
Whoa!
What the fuck? How do you know
They
that?
cut it out. It's one of the things they cut. They said it was too fucked up. They actually have a production photo of her with a bloody crotch.
I mean, to the MPA's credit, that would have been a tone
I don't
shift.
even think that shit made it to the MPAA. I think it was fucking the producers or Paramount or somebody saw that and they said, "They just go ahead and change it."
We can't be doing that. Have you two ever just been overcome with music where you just dance in your room?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
If I could pop and lock, boy, I'd be doing that shit all the time. I don't blame her.
All the time.
She was dead focused.
Her whole death sequence, though, like the killer comes into the room and is like moving around into like the closet and just moving around where she can't see. She literally turns to face him, but can't fucking see him because her stupid ass haircut is like over the one eye that would actually see her. It's actually kind of a funny detail. I think they left that in there on purpose. And I actually appreciate that. That she can't see him like cha-cha-chaing around the room because of the emo haircut.
Did you think about the fact that Ethel got a blade to the forehead? Her face fell into her own stew, and she just sat there until the cops found her.
That goofy son of a bitch, I don't know what the hell he was doing in the yard, just losing his shit.
He was
got
mad.
his
He got his ass whooped.
He was traveling on the porch in the yard.
At this point,
Yeah,
we're
he was
supposed
tearing up a damn yard.
we're supposed to believe that these two characters are like a murderous mother-son duo. Like these are still like part of the red herrings that the movie
He getting amped up
introduced.
to kill some of them kids.
Another thing that just fell flat that the story just didn't support.
Like the movie introduces all these red herrings, but a lot of them don't push it enough to where I'm like, oh, this is a legitimate candidate for who may be performing all these murders.
Yeah, it's like they're introduced as red herrings. Like when you put it in place and you kind of highlight the fact that that's totally not this person, but it could be.
That's a big problem with the movie. There's no character development for anybody.
But yeah, Robin's sleeping with the nips out. Yeah, this is a
Goodness
little
gracious.
bit obvious. You're doing this for the camera.
Boy,
right?
you know the director told her pop like the fucking arch your back when you get into bed.
Pop
Like
them
I ain't
nips
never
out.
seen nobody arch their back like that as soon as they laid in the fucking bed to pop them tits.
She lays down on her back, pulls the sheet up right beneath the nipple, and then leaves it there. I was like, no one sleeps like this.
She likes to air out.
She's like, I was like, why'd you even pull the sheet up and just?
Right there, boom.
You think she was screaming when she saw Jake because he was dead, or because he was in the bed with her?
Yeah, probably because he saw them titties.
She was just that disgusted with his goofy ass.
Poor Jake, man. We ain't really talked about him, which they really don't introduce him until
He
right
has no
around this,
fucking
this
development
fucking
either.
period.
Who the fuck he was?
Oh, stuttering Jake. He tries to pull the moves.
Oh, he wants to bang a hot lady.
He tries
Okay.
to pull the moves, and she fucking laughs in his face. God damn, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, he's a horny teenager. That's his development, I guess.
Dude says, I want to make love with you, and this cold-hearted bitch just starts laughing. Reggie springs awake at the sound of Vi's body hitting the floor above and heads upstairs himself to check on Tommy. Inside Jarvis's vacant room, he discovers the bodies of Jake, Robin, and Vi, with Pam arriving just in time to give us a good old-fashioned jump scare. Checking out the scene, she grabs Reg by the arm and the two flee downstairs as a hockey-masked, machete-toting behemoth bursts through the front door. The pair sprint away through the back door and into the surrounding forest, coming across an abandoned ambulance with the body of Duke inside. Duke is the paramedic who was like kind of cheeky earlier in the movie.
Thanks for the clarification.
And
The asshole.
the asshole. And apparently, this iteration of Jason Voorhees can teleport, because he pops up behind the station wagon and continues his steadily paced chase. Pam and Reggie dash away and become separated as they stumble through the undergrowth, with Pam eventually coming face to face with the body of Dr. Matt, nailed to a tree. Soon, she finds her way back to Pinehurst and to George, who's thrown through a window in a signature move by Josh Voorhees. She continues to flee towards a nearby barn before stumbling. Before the masked slayer can deliver the killing stroke, Reggie erupts through the barn door atop a mini-dozer, flinging their assailant through the air with its bucket. The survivors huddle over the body. But wait, there's more! As Jason lunges back to life, grabbing the Reckless's leg. The duo wrestle free and seek refuge within the barn, with a now injured Jay Voorhees back on his feet. So this might be the first time in the history of a Friday the 13th movie, up to this point anyway, that the chase sequence that is right there at the climax of the movie makes me laugh.
Oh,
Like this is literally like cartoon-esque shit. The way they're running around, falling, slipping, dip diving. Every time they go around a corner, Jason's there. There's a body there.
Knocking him out with a bulldozer.
It just looks comical.
to bring it up again, it's a pivotal point of the Friday the 13th video game, teleportation. And we're just going to gloss over the fact that she finds Dr. Letter, who looks like he got an awesome kill sequence.
God damn it. He's got a fucking railroad spike through his forehead.
He got Michael Myers, and we're never going to see it.
Fucking George had his eyes gouged out before being thrown through the window. That would have been cool as shit to see, too.
That shit had me laughing, man. When he got thrown through that window, it was completely unexpected. And then how about Jason just bursting through it? Literally walks through a door, and the door exploded.
Classic Jason, dude. So much
Classic.
power. So much power. So much fucking
It's just like the box office, man. When he walks in, it fucking explodes.
Like I was
Dude.
watching like a Kool-Aid commercial. That door exploded.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Reggie with the tractor was a little comical, a little goofy.
A little Scooby-Doo there.
Talk about tone again.
The part where Pam... Okay, at this point, we've all realized Pam isn't the best actress. Have you guys caught on to that?
I thought she was fine. What's her cardinal sin here?
When she pulls the jump scare on Reggie.
Balls it.
Pulls the jump scare and like pulls him around. And she's like, "It's me. What is it, Reggie? What is it, Reggie? It's Pam. Remember, I'm the blonde lady. What is it? What's the matter?" You need to go back and rewatch that again.
Apparently I do.
It's not very good. So at this point, the actor who's actually donning the mask of Jason Voorhees is Tom Morga, who has done stunt work or like doubles work for Jeff Goldblum, John Travolta, Leonard Nimoy, Tim Robbins, Keith Carradine, Harold Ramis, and many more. He's appeared as part of the trifecta of Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. He was the guy who played Leatherface in Chainsaw 2, which we've covered before.
Got some notches on that belt.
Yeah.
And he is different than the person who portrayed Jason in the Corey Feldman dream sequence.
Oh yeah, the opening sequence. Yeah.
Is that Jason like malnourished?
Jason in the opening sequence, that was Johnny Hawk. who was he's a stuntman from the 80s and 90s. Worked on the Bruise Brothers, Commando, Total Recall, Tombstone, Arachnophobia. Always like giving these guys their shout outs. They don't get enough recognition. At this point, can we say that she's the worst of the final girls?
Hot take.
Is she a final girl?
And
Is that her?
I mean, it's got to be a final girl. Final girl in the same way Trish was, I guess.
I think Tommy's the final girl.
Within the confines of the barn, the odds are evened as Pam battles Jason with the chainsaw, gashing his arm before the chain locks up. In a last-ditch effort, she flings the saw and makes a break for it just as a drenched and exhausted Tommy Jarvis arrives on the scene. Old foes face off, with Tom finally coming face-to-face with the anguish and horror that's haunted his every waking second for the past 5 years. Once again frozen in fear, Tommy collapses to the ground as the imposing figure's machete slices across his chest. Straddling the teen's body and poised to deliver the killing blow, the J-Man tumbles to the ground as Jarvis plunges his hunting knife into his would-be killer's thigh. Tommy struggles up a nearby ladder to join Pam and Reggie, in the loft, followed by the plotting beast. Tommy, now unconscious, or possibly dead, lies at the foot of Jason, who stalks his 2 remaining victims, culminating in a tug-of-war above a spiked-tooth harrow, with Ridge as the rope. The howls and commotion snap Tommy to, and in a final act of bravery, he severs the arm of Jason, who plunges to his death upon the bed of skewers below. In the fall, the hockey mask falls off, revealing the face of their assailant, not the face of a bubble-headed backwoods wrong-turn reject Jason Voorhees, but the face of Roy, the paramedic. Dun dun dun! Alright, we don't know who the fuck Roy is. I don't think we've talked about Roy the entire time.
I didn't know until the sheriff gave us like a plot spew at the end of this film who I was looking at.
Oh, you didn't recall them from the beginning?
And that goes, as explained at the hospital sometime later to Pam, Roy was actually Joy's father, who abandoned him at birth. Seeing his son hacked to pieces sent him over the edge, and he used the legend of the Crystal Lake Boogeyman as a cover-up.
So this is all Joy's fault.
We see Roy several times throughout the movie. However, his presence in the movie is so minuscule, but obvious. So minuscule, yet upon a further viewing, super obvious that they're pointing to him as being the maniacal killer.
Yeah, I flagged him. Like I said, coming into this with no memory of it, when I saw him and the way he looks at the body at the beginning when he sees Joy, I kind of flagged. I was like, okay, this is one of the viable options here. And he never got crossed off the list, so.
Well, that's the thing. Like, was he ever really on the fucking list? Like, the more it showed him and the more it, like, made it apparent that the director wants you to remember this actor or this character, like, that's when it became apparent to me.
It became apparent to me that this was Jason Voorhees, okay? So I thought it was going to be Jason.
Hook, line, and sinker.
I wasn't looking for a fucking...
Got his ass!
It's really Roy.
Another big giveaway is Roy, the actor, Dick Wyand, actually has very distinctive eyes. And if you watch how they frame Jason Voorhees' face in a lot of these scenes, it goes out of its way to show you his eyes. Whereas that's not a big... where you don't see that in the other movies.
I normally don't see these kind of things, but this film is so lazy with its editing that it's pretty obvious. Earlier, Anita, Damien's girlfriend, when her shoots her throat slit, full frame shot of her breathing. Like, doesn't even cover it up. Still alive. And Roy, laying on all these spikes, is blinking in the rainstorm.
And for me, one of the worst parts of the movie, or the one that feels like it drags ass the most, is this last fucking 10 minutes of the movie. Like this whole hospital sequence here.
Yeah, the epilogue is pretty long. It happens like twice.
Yeah, after the sheriff's explanation, Pam pays Tommy a visit, following yet another nightmare fake-out. And the story concludes with an unhinged, mask-donning Tommy wielding a kitchen knife inches from Pam's back. So it's like a double fucking fake out. Me knowing what I do as, somebody in 2024, knowing there's a part 6 and knowing that Tommy's a big part of part 6, this is a double fake out. But at that time, for modern audiences, they're supposed to be of the mindset that Tommy is now going to continue the legacy of Jason Voorhees.
So this ending is explained in the next film?
It's glossed over.
Okay, that's what I assume would happen.
But there was supposed to be a direct sequel to this movie.
Yeah, so this is sloppy. This is something that Halloween did as well a couple of years later with the character of Jamie, where they like get infected with the spirit of this character who's like haunted their past and like destroyed their childhood. Never fucking works.
I mean, we kind of see this in Jason Goes to Hell too.
Properly executed, yeah. Especially when you're this far into a franchise, like what's the impetus here? Do you want to start a new franchise and make a different fucking series altogether, right?
Yeah, 5 is bold to just change the formula of this franchise.
And it's like a dream sequence of him thinking he sees Jason, and then she actually goes to his room and he puts on the mask, right?
See, I think the first dream sequence is actually, if you was going to continue with this ending as canon, I think they kind of show that as Jason fades away. I don't think it's him overcoming his trauma. I think it's Jason and is absorbing him into his body and becoming
Pazuzu'd his ass.
Yeah, he fucking sucked his ass in, boy.
Yeah, it's super. You don't put this is just a note for anybody making a movie. Don't put dream sequences in your fucking epilogue.
Dude, this movie's got way too many fucking dream sequence fake outs.
That chocolate bar eating,
That
dirty
chocolate
laundry,
eating
and son of a bitch.
Motherfucker.
Just trying to make friends with Vic. Could have saved a lot of lives.
It's got one of those world's finest chocolate bars right now.
Toblerone or some
Have
shit.
you seen one of those some bitches lately?
I have not.
You know the kid comes up and says, "Give me $1 for this chocolate bar from my school or whatever."
Yeah, whole $1.
Kid got me with that about 2 weeks ago.
Oh
Of
yeah,
course
dude.
you
Them
obligated.
things is minuscule.
I did. It's this fucking thick, bro.
What?
It's still $1. It's still $1. The price hasn't changed, but the thing is like a centimeter thick now.
Those used to be massive.
You really gonna try to explain that to a kid? Are you fucking trying to buy the candy? I'd buy this shit from you. It says right here it's fucking 3 ounces. It used to be 6 ounces. I ain't buying this shit.
Back in 1998, you could get 400 calories out of one of these bars. This one here says it's 50.
I'd be sitting there weighing them up. I'm yelling, go eat 3 different kinds. I'm gonna weigh them right quick. See which one's got the most weight to it.
I remember Joey would say, "Hey man, let's do the fundraiser with the chocolate bars, and we just won't collect any money, and we'll eat all the bars."
Yeah, what they gonna do? Come for your house?
The fuck you gonna do?
What, you gonna give me a fucking F or some shit? Oh,
Come
what I get?
arrest your ass.
What I give an
Steal
F
the
in?
chocolate.
What I get a fucking F in? Oh yeah, take me to fucking baby jail, whatever it is you're gonna take me to. Take me to little kid jail.
Yeah,
I didn't eat all of them. I left you the dark chocolate ones. You still got them. Take them and
Oh,
sell
those
them.
was expired. So you could keep them dark
I
chocolate.
guess I'll fucking go wash some dishes in the fucking past the library, in the fucking cafeteria as a 7, 8-year-old.
Dark chocolate. Do I look like I care about heart health, bitch? With that behind us, what piece of memorabilia we want from The New Beginning? That is Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Look, all 3 of us are or have been girthy boys once upon a time, so I know we can appreciate a good candy bar. That uneaten candy bar of Joey's, his fat ass knows what the good candy is. Like the bomb ass candy. It looked like it was a Mr. Good bar or a Toblerone or something like that. It was good because it was covered in it. Yeah, so give me that shit. Got the actual sugar in it. Got the it ain't got all this processed mess that you see in candy nowadays.
I am going. It's a great choice because wherever he has one chocolate bar, he's got multiple chocolate bars.
It's funny because he actually offers them half of one early in the movie. Then he says, "But I need the other half for later." So you give me a quarter of one, you motherfucker?
I am going to go with my man Nunez Jr.'s leather jacket. I thought it was pimp.
Going with that Michael Jackson looking shit.
I might be able to fit it.
It's covered in doo-doo, man.
Well, I could take it to dry cleaner.
I'm going to go with the Alien Mask, Tommy's Alien Mask. It's kind of a rehash of the Feldman, but it looks a little bit more finished, I think. Like they put a little bit more work into it, so that thing's still dope, but I can claim that it's from the fourth one and shun this movie to the end of my days. All right, professors, get your grade books out. Time to hand down letter grades for Friday the 13th, A New Beginning.
Friday the 13th, A New Beginning is, to no one's surprise, my least favorite in the franchise so far that we've covered. Key on that last bit, because Jason X, I'm sure, is coming up. I had no recollection of this film, and as the movie progressed, I realized why I had blocked this out of my mind. The plot is razor thin, and the body count has its numbers pumped up by sheer nonsense. The killings make no sense as to why they are occurring to most of the characters in the film. Not to speak ill of the dead, but the director did no favors in attempting to make this script into somewhat of a coherent film. For the sake of the franchise and my own, I hope that the next installment is better than this one. I give it a D-.
Friday the 13th, A New Beginning is a disappointing entry, to say the least. The attempt to take the series in a new direction falls flat, and the plot twist feels more like a cheap trick than a genuine surprise, which is no surprise to anyone. The kill scenes lack the creativity and impact of the rest of the franchise. You couple that with the lack of the elephant in the room. No Jason Voorhees equals no bueno. Feels like a cynical cash grab that adds little value to the Friday the 13th mythos. Movies are really hard to make. I get it. And it's really hard for me to give anything an F. A D for the dud that was made here by Mr. Danny Steinmann.
So as a kid, I think there's a tie between a New Beginning and Jason Takes Manhattan for which Friday the 13th I was subjected to the most, for whatever reason. Those were the ones I remember being in constant rotation at my grandparents', so there's some sentimentality with this one. But that doesn't mean shit, because this movie fucking sucks dick. The least of the troubles with this film is the lack of Jason in a Jason movie. We have the worst, most useless, shittiest final girl, to this point at least, in Pam, who couldn't act her way out of a piss-soaked paper bag. We have possibly the lamest, blandest, most insignificant collection of characters in a Friday the 13th movie to date. Honestly, if Ethel Jr. and Damon weren't in this movie, there wouldn't be a single character I cared about or enjoyed watching. Now, me saying that doesn't diminish how well John Shepard portrays a broken and traumatized Tommy Jarvis, but as a character, I vastly prefer Corey Feldman's charismatic Tommy J. Although I do understand and appreciate the character arc that Part 5 pushes. I also recognize a parallel with Halloween 3 in terms of Part 5 being the black sheep of the series, but it lacks the charm and longevity of Season of the Witch. A month after watching H3, I can still recall its characters, its plot, its atmosphere, its quirks, whereas with The New Beginning, it'll fade to the recesses of my mind like song lyrics I can't recall till I'm hearing it on the radio years later. The ending, with the reveal of Roy as the copycat killer, just feels fruitless. We have basically no screen time with this guy, no reason to care or sympathize with his motives. Instead of feeling anger or shock or joy at his ultimate demise, I feel nothing, aside from a relief that it's over, and I think a lot of viewers feel the same way. And so, 1985's Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, grades out with a D.
Let's put this copycat Jason to bed for now until we...
This is actually Josh Voorhees.
So, we're going to recap audience score guesses from Rotten Tomatoes. Again, this is a game we made up. And on top of this being a made-up game, this is actually a round of this game that does not count. So, for shits and giggles, we guessed that this would be at a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes from myself, a 35 from Hootie, a 25 from Joey. The actual audience score was a 26.
Oh, motherfucker, you motherfuckers.
He knew exactly the turd he was going to lay right in front of us all.
I know my people.
You get to host again.
This round did not count, so we are going to revert back to the last declaration of a winner from our previous episode, in which Joey was actually the winner of said game.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So the next film is in your wheelhouse, my guy. What's it going to be?
I figured I'd throw us all a bone and watch something considered stylistically fucking awesome, batshit crazy, starring one of the most polarizing yet passionate men in Hollywood, Nicolas Cage. We're going to be checking out 2018's Mandy.
Oh,
interesting. We were just referencing this the other day.
Yeah, never seen it before. I've been wanting to see it. I've heard about the Cheddar Goblin. I want to see what the fuck's going on with the Cheddar Goblin. We're going to do a deep dive.
All right, folks, going to watch the trailer on YouTube. You hop on our YouTube, you can watch along with us and follow our reactions in real time. Otherwise, we'll catch you back here in a few. But there's a trailer, boys. For those new to the show, we take a stab at the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. If we're within 5 points, we choose our next film. Otherwise, we get a random assignment from the internets. So this is Joy's choice. He shall abstain. So between you and me, who do we think this bad boy sits? It's going to be a hard fucking guess. I can go ahead and tell you right now.
yeah, this is audience score.
This could be hated. It could be loved. I have no idea.
I feel like people love this movie. I'm going to say 72.
I'm going to say 60.
Definitely seems like the type of movie that is like an apple of the eye type of movie for critics. But modern audiences, they might not appreciate it as much.
Doing a little bit of fan service here. Looks like you can watch this on Hulu at the moment. So if you got your Hulu, get your Hulu on. With that said, thank you for listening. Check out our website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all the episodes, the social platforms, and the merch store. There are 3 ways you can support this podcast for free while also winning our undying love. Rate, review, and subscribe. And while you're at it, send us some chocolate bars, Hershey's with almonds for me personally. I will be sending my personal support to women slaving over a big old pot of stew. Keep stirring and nourishing the poor saps out there. Everyone else, sleep tight.
Send me Snickers and Musketeers.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread that love. Spread the campaign of the Horrible Film School. Come hang out with us on Instagram and TikTok. We're pretty active on those platforms. And with that, I get to go dive into a wild ride that is Mandy. And I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. I really appreciate you guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time when we traverse the red in 2018's Mandy. Class dismissed.